Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. This is going to be a mammoth video. I'm going for Raid's best champions. Originally, I wanted to do a top 50, but I couldn't do less than 70 champions. There's so many champions in the game right now. We've got over 700. And when I was trying to do a 50, I was like, I cannot leave these champions off the list. So get yourself a mug of tea, maybe a coffee, whatever, and settle in, because this is going to be epic. So make sure you let me know in a comment below, who did I miss? Who would you have put in the top 70? I'm going to go up in stages. It's not going to be like this is the 70th best up to the first. I kind of got like 4 chunks of names. So we're going to start with that bottom chunk and work our way up towards the top chunk. And yeah, see if you guys agree with me. This is always a bit contentious. People have always got their own views, but this is mine. So we're going to go in with the kind of bottom group and coming in one of Raid's best. Don't forget, this is top 70 in the game. Brienne the Conjurer. Why so good? This is one of the Doom Tower champions, by the way. So it's a little bit down the road before you can get this champion. But we do have a kind of cool revive mechanic. We do have the ability to clean buffs off of all enemies and then replace it with a weaken, which can go up to 100%. This is the main skill. Books to a 3-turn. There's so many areas of the game now where we need to clean buffs off of enemies. And Brienne the Conjurer does it really, really well. Also got an A1 block buff ability, which could be pretty damn solid as well. But Brienne the Conjurer comes into the group. Makes the cut. Next one. I nearly cut her out because I was like, I need less people in this list. But Rector Draft, I just could not cut her. Too good as a reviver. Too good as a healer to not make this list. So she's got this passive where whenever someone under a Veil or Perfect Veil gets a turn, gives them a juicy heal. 10% of their max HP and gives them resistance as well. And then she's got which basically means that they're getting a heal every time they have a turn, which is awesome, by the way. Decrease attack A1, heal all allies A2, and puts Perfect Veil on them for 2 turns. There's very few champions in the game that are capable of doing this ability right here. It's particularly good now for Hydra, but was always good. Perfect Veils like that, you're taking less damage. And by the way, you're hidden from single target hitters. And then we've got a revive here as well with a Perfect Veil, a nice heal, and a big juicy kind of amount of turn meter fill. So, you know, resistance in Doom Tower, decent champion. Now we're going to go for probably the most contentious champion in the game, because it always comes up whenever you talk about someone who's strong or someone who's taken a nerf. Eurodrim was obscene, got nerfed, still makes my top 70. Do you agree with that or not? I think still a top 70 champion in the game. So fast, good stats, can still solo Dragon 25, can still pretty much do Ice Golem 25 by himself as well. Double hitter with decent chance to land poisons on his A1. We've got a cleanse and a heal from one team member on his A2. And then we've got poisons for all enemies, heals for all allies on his A3 with a nice speed aura as well. I still feel like Eurodrim, top tier champion in the game. Okay, moving on to a damage dealer. First of the big hitters for me. And we've got Solus coming into this group. I kind of wanted to put him higher. Maybe he should be higher. I don't know. But honestly, massive hitter. Got a cool kit as well. Huge defense, huge HP. So he's able to kind of be built as an absolute unit and stay alive. Really fun champion. He's got a stun A1. He's got a 3-hitter. Hits at random on his A2. Each hit, when booked, 100% chance to remove all buffs from the enemy. Places provoke instead. Like, this A2 is actually not to be sniffed at. It's a really cool ability. It's a shame it's an at random hit, because that's the only thing that lets it down, but it is damn good. And then he's got this absolute smack of an A3. The more debuffs on the enemy, the harder it hits. And it's one of the hardest hitting, if not the hardest hitting, defense-based champion in the game. Also puts a shield on your team when he smacks. So like in Spider, he's like, massive shields for everybody. But he's mainly an arena champion doing an obscene level of damage. Got defense in Faction Crypt, massive 44% as well. Solus in the mix. Okay then, next one on my list. Next one who makes the cut is the Knight, the Stag Knight. With his glowing shield and his juicy stag horns. Yeah, Stag Knight is still a beast. Like, he's got a good A1 decreased speed. That's really helpful in a lot of boss situations. Double hitter as well. And he's got this AoE, drop defense, drop attack. As long as you've got the mastery, which gives you an extra 5% to land these abilities, it's 100%. On a 3-turn cooldown, it's just such a very basic kit, but it's so good. So good. He's difficult to kill. He has got very good HP and defense. He also hits for a reasonable amount if you decide to pump some damage into him. But yeah, Stag Knight, easy on the list. Right, let's move on to another epic, actually. God Seeker Iniri. So, probably didn't make my original cut, but then I was like, how can I leave this champion off the list? High defense, good base speed. We've got a heal mechanic on her A1. We've got this cool ability on her A2 where she does an AoE, hits pretty hard, heals all allies, then decreases duration of all buffs, and increases your buffs. It's like, damn, lots going on with this skill, and it's a really good skill. She's got a revive as well, plus a turn meter feel on the revive, plus uniquely resets the cooldowns of all skills on the person that went down. Picks them back up, and it's like, have a fresh start, my friend. Cool passive as well. So generally, all your team do more healing, but also, if someone's about to die, quickly pops a revive on death on them. They pop back up, and away they go. So very cool passive here. One of the best passives in the game, I would say. So Godseeker comes into the mix. Let's move on. Let's keep it going. We have got ourselves a Magnar. Again, one of these I was like, should he be on the list? Look, he's one of the best damage dealers for an HP-based champion, and he's an epic. Of course he should be on the list. He's got a decreased defense A1, which is cool. He's got mechanics which are better if there's burns out there. But generally, I would say, forget the burners. Just use him for damage. And he's better if there's not HP burn champions on your team for straight up hitting hard. His A2 is an absolute smack double hitter if there's no burns out there. But if there are burns out there, then he's got a good chance to stun the enemy instead. He's got a debuff spread on his A3 if there are burns out there, and a bit of a passive heal. So I think Magnar, top tier in the game, top 70 champion for me. I'm going to move on to one of my... This might just be like a personal favourite epic, but Venomage. What a champion this is. What a champion. So we've got an AoE, heal reduction, and poison. Yeah, poison kind of falls off a bit the further you get into the game. There's less enemies that get affected by it naturally, or, you know, by like full whack. But I think Venomage is a great champion. Is capable of soloing some pretty nasty stuff in the game. But generally just cool. So you've got poisons on everyone, heal reduction on everyone, and then enemies that are under the heal reduction just do less damage. Take Hydra, your whole team taking 15% less damage if Venomage is on your team, and she's done that AoE first. Heal reduction, great for Finite. Heal reduction, useful for some of the Doom Tower bosses as well. We've got a decreased defense and attack, single target if there is poison around. And she's also got this decreases the target's max HP A1, which is awesome for Scarab boss. So Venomage for me is definitely in the mix. Then we move on to the Fat Man, Farakin. Great epic champion, one of the best ally attack champions in the game. Very fast, good base stats. We've got a decreased defense A1. He's generally like used in clan boss or arena, so this is a great clan boss ability. I'll tell you what, there's loads of Doom Tower bosses where he comes in clutch as well. He does have a burn and poisons on his A2, and he's got this great ally attack move. So 4-turn cooldown, increases stats on your team, crit rate and crit damage, then sends 3 of them in. Yeah, great skill. And interestingly, I found out just recently, I had him as my stun target in a clan boss team, which is the first time I've seen this passive really be useful. But you know, if he's stun target, he's kind of spreading those stun hits across the rest of the team so that he's got way more survivability for that sort of scenario. But generally, his passive just enables him to stay alive more easily at the expense of the rest of his team. Right then, let's move on. We have got next Taragi Lefrog. Taragi the Frog, awesome clan boss champion. He's mainly clan boss. He can be used elsewhere, but for clan boss, he's pretty damn awesome. We've got a decreased attack A1. Still one of the best abilities in clan boss if you do not have an unkillable team going. We've got an AoE provoke for general content. And then he's got this great A3. So he puts a shield on himself but puts a shield equal to 50% of this champion's HP on the team, and he puts ally protection on them as well, and he puts a heal on himself, and reflect damage, and this and that. An extra heal for more poisons on the enemy, and then his passive just chalks up poison. So every time he's taking hits, chance to put poisons out there. He's got resistance in all battles as well. Good base stats. Taragi the Frog had to be in the mix. Next one we're going for, wrong faction, Dark Elves. Next one we're going for is going to be Madame Suri. Bit like Rianne the Conjurer, really. All about her A3 for me. So she removes all buffs from all enemies, replaces it with a decreased attack and a decreased defense. And, with good base stats, very easy to build. Mainly an arena champion that goes out, clears out the enemy's protection, and puts in really harsh debuffs to just make them easier to kill and do less damage to you. Also got this A2 where she can attack all enemies and steal buffs from enemies and put block debuffs on your team, which again is actually a really cool mechanic. She's got a good passive as well. Shield at the start of her turn just basically means that she's pretty tough to kill, and then a chance to put fears out as well. So Madame had to make the cuts. The next three, all from the same faction, kind of solidify this bottom chunk of people that I was talking about. So Countess Lix is the first one in that group. Probably could go higher, honestly. Maybe I'm being harsh here, but awesome champion. So a weaken on her A1, double hitter. She's got a triple hit. Each hit has got a chance of putting decreased speed out, and each hit also has a chance of dropping turn meter. It's a crazy A2. It hits pretty hard as well. She's then got another AoE ability on her A3, putting out block active skills. Also decreases the cooldown of all ally skills by a turn. This A3 is nutty. It's a shame it's on a 5-turn, but still it is a nutty A3. And then if she's paired with Astralon, she does a bit more, removing buffs and stuff. Plus turn meter feel every time an ally receives a debuff. Great base stats. Countess Lix is an absolute freaking beast. Next one in this group is Tyrant. Tyrant is kind of one of the original HP burners, but still super relevant in the game. Crazy base stats. Good speed, good defense, good HP. He's got a heal on his A1 if there's a burn out there. He's got an AoE HP burn, books to 100%. And he's got an ally protection and increased defense, which books to 3 turns. So could be a clan boss champion, could be a spider champion, could be a doom tower champion. Loads going on. He's also got this passive which just straight up makes your whole team take less damage against enemies that have got an HP burn on. You cannot underestimate how good these passives are where you just straight up have damage reduction. So Tyrant in the mix. And then the other one is the person you get from the Bazaar. Drex, I've got to add him in the mix. Similar sort of reason, really. Good base stats. He's got HP burn when he takes a hit from his passive. One of the best legendaries in the game, unbooked, I would say. If you don't have books to throw at legendaries, this guy can just rock up, doesn't need books, and still does his job. Basically, whenever he takes a hit, a very good chance of putting an HP burn on the enemy, so that the next time they move, they injure the entire enemy team. He's also got an HP burn chance on his A1, and he's got an AoE provoke on his A2, which also has a chance to put decreased attack on sort of wave-based content. One of the most influential things about Drex, if you get him relatively early, is his accuracy aura is just so damn good. An extra 70 accuracy. It's like everybody's wearing an accuracy banner before you get the gear that you need to get the job done in terms of landing stuff. So Drex comes in as kind of like the last of this bottom group of champions for me. So we're going to move up. We're upgrading a level now. The third stage of the best. And we're going to start with the only uncommon which makes the cut. And this is Armagar. Armagar is relevant right through to endgame, which is crazy. He's got horrendous... I just realized this. He's got horrendous base stats. Awful base speed. Awful base defense, awful base HP, and you're like, damn, this uncommon surely cannot be good. He is good. He's got one of the best turn meter controls in the game. He has to crit, he has to have accuracy, but he just drops the enemy's turn meter 30% every hit on his A1. And then he's got the cannon A2. So basically comes in and does enemy max HP damage. Doesn't matter that his defense and that is low with this. It's just going to do high levels of damage as long as you've got high crit rate and crit damage. Also a chance to block revive on it as well. He can smack. It can be on a 2-turn cooldown. And when you get past level 20 stuff, and there's a cap on the amount of damage these skills can do, actually he gains value. And one of the champions that didn't make the cut is Septimus. I feel like because of that, and Septimus used to be like one of my favorite champions in the game, his value just drops off so hard that he doesn't make the cut when it comes to, you know, investing in a champion for one of the best. So Armagut in the mix. Right, who's up next? Probably used to be the top champion in the game. Less and less required now. Still very solid, but less and less required with other champions that have come up. But we've got a decreased defense A1 from Marta. We've got a full team increased defense and counter attack on the A2. Particularly good in Clan Boss. Outside of Clan Boss, look, it's still strong. Yeah, you've got more defense and you're counter attacking, which means that you've got chances to either take somebody out or you've got chances to heal up if you're wearing lifesteal gear, that type of stuff. But or, you know, you've got chances to land whatever's going on your A1. So counter attack's still a great skill. And we've got another AoE here, decrease attack AoE with a provoke as well. I mean, I guess this just starts to come in as a better Hydra Clan Boss ability now, whereas it used to be you'd have a kind of cheeky decrease attack for normal Clan Boss, or you'd be using it in waves. She does hit hard with this ability. She does have great base stats, apart from that shocking speed. But yeah, the defense in all battles helps as well. But Marta does make the cuts. And now I've thrown Cupidus in a little bit early. I feel like after Cupidus's buff that's coming this week, or it's meant to be coming this week, he's got to be a top 70 champion. Because we're all of a sudden going to have more damage on his A1. We're going to have a counter attack mechanic on his A1, which already does a lot of damage anyway. We're going to have an AoE HP burn, which is a great skill. And then we're going to have this big hitter. So I feel like Cupidus is going to make the cut very, very soon. So I'm throwing him in for good measure. Next one in the mix is Candrathon. So Candy, one of the best arena defense champions in the game for offense. So what does that mean? It basically means that he can be your kind of like win condition for your defense team. Basically, as soon as the enemy do stuff, pretty much, as soon as the enemy boosts their turn meter, he will put a veil on himself and he straight up just takes 40% less damage. It's so good. This passive is so damn good. Yeah, puts himself under a perfect veil and will just take less damage, 40%. Also, when he gets his turn, he hits for 40% more damage. It's pretty damn nuts. He's got this A2, which is his AoE. It's his big hitter. Take down most of the enemy team. And if it doesn't, the A1 comes in as one of the best abilities for an A1. Best damage dealing abilities for an A1 if he gets to double crack off. Does have this A3 that buffs him as well. A lot of people just turn that off. But Candy is in the mix. Now, I've got the partner in crime to Cupidus, which is going to be Venus here. Already very solid. Also getting a bit of a buff. But we've got Poison A1. We've got an AoE drop defense and weaken on the A2. The buff will make this 100% HP burn. Just takes her up to an extra level, but was already good anyway. And then a cleanse enemy buffs on her passive, or sorry, on her kind of fourth ability if Cupidus comes into the mix as well. Very fast, good base stats. Venus is definitely one of the badasses of the game. Right. Back into that demon spawn. By the way, if you wanted to pick a faction to try and win the game with, demon spawn just pop up again and again in this tier list. Like, there's so many good ones. It's insane. So the next one from this faction who I'm picking out is Sakia. Don't have on myself, but probably could have gone higher even. What a great champion. Good base stats. Very low base HP. Got to be careful of that. Got a triple hitter on her A1. She's got an AoE, decreased defense, and weaken if everybody's got burn on them on her A2. And she's got an AoE burn on her A3 and gets an extra turn if she burns everyone. So she basically goes burns, drop defense, and weaken. And the drop defense and weaken will pop any HP burns that are out there and just do a shed ton of damage. She's also got this cool passive where she gets a bit of extra speed. And basically, like, stops people taking burn damage. They heal instead. It's very cool. Yeah, Sakia definitely well and truly in the mix. Right, let's move on to a couple of undeads here. Bad Alcazar, he kind of falls in and out of the meta a bit, but still a top tier, top 70 for sure, champion in raid. Capable of soloing Ice Golem, soloing Dragon, one of the best solo champions in the game, I guess. But also, it's just really cool to have in your team. Good base stats, AoE hitter on his A1 with a heal. Full team cleanse on his A2 on a 3-turn cooldown. Also puts heals on your team, poisons on the enemies. And he's got this passive which just strikes your damage up 20%. You were down hit for 1 million. Now you're hitting for 1.2 million. That's what he does. Straight up more damage. So Bad L comes into the fray for us here. Also going to call out from this faction at the same time. Where is he? Vodoff. So Vodoff is such a good epic. Still probably, I think he might still be the best tank in the game. Like, best team support tank in the game. HP-based champion, triple hit A1. Each hit a chance to increase the duration of a random debuff. It's not a bad A1, to be fair. Books up to 40%. He's got an AoE provoke on his A2. Can also place a decrease attack on the same skill. This is good for, like, wave control. He's then got 2 great passives. So whenever he's hit, he heals all allies by 50% of the damage received. 25% from boss attacks. Insane for Bommel. Becomes part of a lot of the kind of Bommel auto teams. But generally insane as well. Insane in arena defense if you're trying to, like, withstand a nuke. Really, really cool skill. And great for wave-based content where you're just trying to stay alive. And he's got his second passive. When attacked, puts a leech on the attacker for 2 turns. This could be a great clan boss mechanic if you're trying to stay alive. He's also got a chance of increasing the cooldown of a skill. This is very rare that this happens because you don't provoke bosses. Yeah, it's just like, it's a shame that the enemy's got to be under provoked for this, because this would be insanity, by the way. But it doesn't really come into play that often. But Vodoff is an absolute beast. We've got another demon spawn coming in the mix at this point. Often seems to pop up on ×10s and guaranteed, and Raid love this champion. Whoever made the artwork for this champion, it's one of my faves with the dagger going right through her. But yeah, with her the crowned, she's a bit like a Bad L, honestly. AoE A1, chance to put leech out there and heals. She's got increased defense for your team on her A2, and will enhance any heals that are already out there and then pop them so you get like an instant cheeky heal on your whole team. And then she's got the full team cleanse and heal on her A3. Also a passive that every time she has a turn, basically the person with the lowest HP gets their heal as well. So very cool, great base stats with Fear the Crowned in the mix. Right, let's move on to a poison exploder then. We have got ourselves Xavier. I could not put her in. She's too good. Xavier has got a triple hitter A1, chances to put poison out there with her A1. She's got an AoE chance to place poison on her A2. Honestly, I wish this was just 100%. It would be so good if it was, but maybe that would make her a bit OP. But yeah, she's got a 50% chance, goes up to 75 of putting a poison with each hit that she does on her A2 on a 3-turn cooldown. And then as long as she's got a load of poisons out there, so you know, champions like Taurus with her, or I don't know, anyone, Calvalax, anyone who's putting a load of poisons out there, she will rip all of those poisons off and pop them instantly. So if there's the total of 20 poison debuffs out is in ticks worth, she will instantly kill anybody in the game. So yeah, the more poisons are out there, the more damage she'll do. She's one of the best wave killers in the game. She does a lot of work on bosses up until like stage 20 stuff, and then they cap the damage after that. But it's still effective after that. It's still a really strong strat to be like taking down Dragon 25 with poison exploders. So Xavier is in the mix. Also, she does block revive from this. So if you're up against Ice Golem ads and you want to kill them and keep them dead, this is a great way to do it. And it's also a great arena mechanic if you want to kill someone and keep them dead. She does pair with Bellinor. Doesn't really happen a lot and is fairly useless. So other than her base defense, she's got really good stats. But her defense is low. Does make her a little bit difficult to keep alive and make her do damage at the same time. So from the same faction, and we're throwing Ghostborn in the mix here. Ghostborn, generally just underrated in terms of how good he is. You'll see him in a lot of speed teams, like proper speed teams. He's less required now than he used to be now that we can set AI, but he's still insanely good. Any content in the game, there's a 3% chance that any debuff you're trying to land, even if you had 1,000,000 accuracy, there's a 3% chance it just will not land. So his A3, just AoE hit, decrease defense enemy, cannot be resisted, and then increase attack on your team to allow your damage dealers to come over the top. He does have an AoE heal reduction as well, and a drop defense A1 where you would need accuracy to land it. But actually, this ability here on his A3 can do it with 0 accuracy, it would still land. Pretty cool. It does bring accuracy and faction crypts as well, and he brings decent stats. So yeah, Ghostborn in the mix. Let's pop back to the undead. Let's have a little look at Seeker here. Seeker enables things like fast speed comps in Clan Boss. So if you're looking at those 2-for-1 speed comps, he was one of the first champions in the game to enable it because of his A2. Gives you a turn meter feel and increased attack, by the way, but then the extra turn basically makes it on a 2-turn cooldown instead of a 3. It's also got a good passive if you're trying to play him in arena. If you play him as like your arena lead, if he takes a hit, he spreads increased defense to the rest of your team before they are hit. Even though it's an AoE hit, he'll spread it before they take a hit. It really gives them a good chance of staying alive. If you put him at the back of your team in terms of order, he spreads the increased defense after he's hit, but everyone's already taken the hit already and they're already dead. So make sure that he's up the kind of front of your team order to do this. So yeah, moving on then. I'm going to call out Eurost in the same faction here. One of the Doom Tower champions that you can get. For me, it's just the best, like, Scarab Boss killer. There's a lot of champions that can kill Scarab Boss. I feel like this guy's underutilized because he's so good at doing that. People don't build him for other stuff. But, you know, with a shield on his A1, with an AoE ability, turn meter control, decreased speed, stunnage, like all sorts of control abilities on his A2, strengthen and ally protection on his A3 on a 3-turn, and then his cool passive here is pretty damn involved, but basically throwing out poisons when he's hit, and you know, potential to put provokes out if other members of the team are hit when they've got strengthen on. There's a lot going on, and Eurost is an absolute beast. As I say, probably underutilized, but definitely the best Scarab Boss killer in the game for me. Let's grab someone else here who I don't have yet. I should have him. Why have I not done normal Doom Tower all this time? But Dark Kale. Dark Kale, he's got kind of low HP. He is just phenomenal. I remember doing my showcase video of him. I was shocked at how good he was, like everywhere. He's such an all-rounder. So he's got this triple hitter A1. Each hit, chance to just pop poisons or burns. He's got an AoE ability, decrease attack on his A2. Also, it's got this, if it's a crit, chance to increase the duration of all debuffs on a target. Goes up to 100%. And he's got this poison sensitivity and poison, or triple poison debuff A3. 100% chance to land, 3-turn cooldown. Passive as well. Decreases crit rate of enemies that are under 2 or more poisons. For most PvE stuff, that just means that they've got 0% crit rate once that's on. Most enemies you face in PvE, Clan Boss, you know, general waves, they've normally got 15% base crit rate, like somebody here without gear on. So this is actually quite a big skill for Dark Kale. So yeah, Dark Kale absolutely in the mix of the top 70. Okay, then let's keep this moving. We have got ourselves, again, this guy could probably go up a bit higher. Maybe should just be up higher. Calvalax is an absolute monster of a champion. He's got phenomenally low base HP and okay base defense. So he's quite squishy. But, I mean, damn, what a champ. Speed in all battles, quite quick anyway. He's got an A1, which will increase the duration of poisons on an enemy and also give him a bit of a heal. He's got an A2 where he'll do extra hits for poisons that are out there. He's got an A3 where he does an enemy max HP AoE. There's not many of these around, which can absolutely smack in the right conditions. And then he's got this cool passive. So at the start of a round, he'll throw 4 poisons on everybody. That's basically just writing off 20% of anybody's health that you're facing. But obviously it also buffs his damage and his healing and everything else that he's doing as well. Also, 50% chance to put a poison on everybody at the start of each turn that he has. So he can continuously keep poisons rolling. Whenever an enemy places a poison on him, swaps it for a continuous heal instead. Calvalax is a beast. Really, really fun champ. This is probably my biggest regret in terms of a champion that I didn't get that I could have got. Herndid was a fusion champion. Really solid champion. So he's got this A1, attacks an enemy, gets an extra turn, and decreases the cooldown of his stasis strike, his A3, by 2 turns if he kills someone. So he can just cycle extra turns as long as he's killing stuff with his A1. He's got an A2, which gives you an AoE drop defense and accuracy. This is big anyway. 3-turn cooldown, 100% chance to put drop defense out there. Plus, by the way, hits like an absolute cannon. And he's got this A3, fully depletes somebody's turn meter. Will also do an AoE if it's a crit. And the AoE can put weaken out there for 2 turns. So he's basically got drop defense. He's got weaken. Will also place a burn for 2 turns after the attack on enemies whose turn meter are below 30. So it's a little bit, might happen, might not. But still damn good. And then he's got this passive as well. Gets more turn meter when they're hit. So basically, I don't know. It's just like he's just got so much in his kit and can cycle back to his core abilities really fast. Comes really good for Dark Fae. Great in the arena. Just generally good for any wave-based content. Good for Nightmare Campaign if you're struggling there. He's an absolute freaking beast. So we've got a few more for this chunk. And then we're going to go into what I would class as the even bigger boys. So Riho here. Maybe could go higher, honestly. Really, really good legendary champion. So he's got an A1 with a continuous heal for your team. An A2, which basically puts all the debuffs on the enemy. Decreased crit, stuns, burns, decreased defense. Like, it is just a plethora of debuffs drop in. She's also got this cleanse and heal on her A3. So she becomes a really good anti, like, hedgy type of champion or anti-debuff champion, basically, because of her passive. So when she gets a debuff, she transfers it back to the person attacking. And then if everyone's locked out, she's like, well, I'm not, because I've just passed all of my nasty stuff back. So then I'm going to clean everything off of you guys. And by the way, they're not going to do it again because I've got block debuffs in my kit. And if you were hurt in the meantime, don't worry, I'm going to heal you up. Really, like, this combo of a passive and her A3 are so good. Big attack aura for faction crips, which is okay. Good base stats. So yeah, Riho definitely makes that top group. Now this one, I think because I've just seen so few people using Basatha, when I first rated him, I rated him as like basically a top tier legendary. I personally do not have him, and I've never used him. But based on his kit, I still have to see him as a top 70 champion in the game. Even if it's just by how freaking awesome he looks. So he's a damn sweet looking champion. But we've got here massive defense, massive HP, good speed. All of his damage comes from HP. But he's got a crazy defense as well. So he's very, very tanky. He's got decreased attack A1. He's got strengthen and heals on his A2, as well as a shield. So places a shield for 2 turns, equal to 25% of his HP, which will be high on any allies that have got these nasty debuffs. And his A3 is just a straight up 100% stun and turn meter drop. So massive control, 4-turn cooldown. He's also got this, which I think is why I placed him so high initially. So whenever an enemy is revived, 100% chance to put a stun on them. It cannot be resisted, cannot be blocked. And there's a lot of reviving going on in the arena. There's a lot of reviving going on in Doom Tower waves. It's really annoying. So it just feels like it's a super strong passive. Good HP aura as well. So Basatha, I think he's got to stay in the mix, even though I've not really had much use of him. If you have, comment below. Am I right? Is he as good as he sounds? Right, let's move on. Couple more in this group, and then we're going to move on to the next tier up. So this was tough for me. I felt like Ethos should he be in like the second group of crazy champs. I've moved him to the third because he is like a bit of a one-trick pony. But damn, what a trick. He is just someone who does a lot of damage. He's a Void Legendary Champion. 2 big AoEs. That's it. That's pretty much it. 2 big AoEs. Makes him very capable in the arena. Very capable of wave-based content. Does a lot of damage. He's one of the few that hits hard enough and does enough work to take on Nightmare Campaign as a farmer. Very fast as well. And then he can scale or can get extra turns on his A1 to get back to these AoE abilities again. Super high damage, but that's kind of it. And that's similar for the other champion in the mix here. who perhaps has got a bit more to his kit, in fairness. So maybe Leo is slightly better. Another Void Legendary. He's got more stuff in his kit, and he hits hard as well. So we've got a drop defense ability on his A1. First AoE, and immune to all of the nasty stunnage and all that type of stuff. Double hitter. Second AoE, can put out True Fear, weaken, and it hits hard as well. And basically, as he loses health, he does more damage through his passive. So if he's at 1% health, and he can get there because he puts an unkillable buff on himself when he's about to die. So if he's at 1% health, he is Trunda-esque damage. But obviously it's a little bit situational. Makes him extremely good for the arena and generally for wave-based content. He's also good in an unkillable clan boss team. He just does a lot of damage. So yeah, Leo is actually a beast. Last one for this grouping. Ash is going to turn in his grave on this one. I'm putting Seal of the Drakes in the mix here. And you're probably like, are you kidding me? Well, yeah, we're talking top champions in the game anyway, so it's not like I'm putting her down. But the next group up for me just do a bit more. So Seal, drop speed on her A1, super good. AoE stun on her A2, very, very strong. And ally protect and a revive on her A3, again, very strong. One of the things I love about her most actually is her heal. So she just constantly is topping up health. Every time she gets to go, more health for your team. Putting out cheeky increased speeds to random people. And yeah, just generally for something that we get for logging in, you know, over, what is it, half a year or something? Or no, maybe it's not that long. But anyway, a login champion. She's extremely strong. She's a great, great legendary champion. And this is now inside the top 40. So, you know, Seal is, for me, she was kind of like on the cusp of this group or the next group. So let's move up then to what I would class as the second tier down of awesome, awesome champions. And the first one I've got in here is, where do you live? Royal Guard. The Guard. I mean, he's been top tier throughout Raid. Like whenever you've talked about top tier epics and stuff, he's always in the mix. He's back up there again because we're now using his, you know, AoE or his kind of 4-hit to decrease speed on Hydra and his big slam on Hydra, and he's got a drop defense there as well. And he's also got some turn meter stuff here, so he goes into really strong Dark Fae teams with his kind of big hit and his drop speed and drop turn meter. And if we're talking about endgame Fire Knight, well, you know what? He's there as well. He's just in so many top tier teams that he cannot avoid this group. Whilst we're in this faction, I'm going to call out Arbiter as well. She's still queen of the arena. She still goes into, you know, probably 90% of people's arena teams once they pick her up. She's giving you a turn meter fill and an increased attack, which helps your nukers do work. If your nukers fail and they die, she picks them back up again and then gets an extra turn to try and do this again. So she's doing like a double turn meter fill. She's got a cheeky chance to remove buffs. She's got a weaken. She's got a brilliant base speed. She's just a great, great champion. Let's call out another epic now. Deke. One of my favorite epics in the game. Yeah, so much going on in his kit. Great base stats. Leech A1. AoE drop defense A2. Turn meter fill and an extra turn A3, which again, a bit like I said about Seeker, just enables him to do all sorts of stuff in Clan Boss on like a 2-for-1 basis, just to boost your turn meter over and over again. Also just insanely good for anything wave-based. So, you know, wave-based going into Fire Knight, Faction Wars, Doom Tower, just makes the game a ton easier as long as you put some good accuracy on him and make him fast. He's also got speed in all battles. You can throw him in a stun set, and he's got 2 AoE hitters, so you know, he's going to do some work with that. Just a great, great champion. Okay, into this group, we're throwing one of my new legendaries, Tahanarak. Awesome for Hydra. Great in Clan Boss. Great in a lot of Doom Tower content. Just a really strong champion. So, massive base speed, massive base stats. She's got a decreased speed A1 with some heals going on. She's got an AoE decreased attack and block buffs. Sorry, it's a single target, but can spread it in a debuff spread ability. So this can spread to everybody. Very good for Hydra. And then she's got this increased defense and increased speed on her A3 on a 3-turn. But what makes her different from a lot is this passive. So she's basically like a Doom Priest type passive where she's just cleaning off debuffs 2 if there's continuous heals around. So it just makes her really strong as you get further and further into the game. Next one in this group I've got is risen through the ranks. Udo was already strong, but with Hydra, she becomes one of the best Hydra champions in the game. So she's got this AoE, drop defense, block buffs ability, basically 100% chance to land it. She's got a leech on her A1. She's got a revive and a heal on her A3. And then she's got this kind of cool passive that if everyone's dropping, she's got a chance to have it's almost like final fight, final go to try and get everyone back up again. Very cool. Udo in the mix. Okay, I was kind of like umming and ahhing. Does this one go top tier or this tier? Tunisia is so fun. She's really fun. She's in my Spider 25 team, like a really fast team. She's doing work. She's got an decreased defense. She's got an AoE stun, HP burn, decreased speed. It's all going on. The HP burn goes on for 3 turns, so it's ticking for longer. Now, against Hydra, this is a mammoth ability. Against Spider, it's mammoth as well. Loads of Doom Tower stuff. It's really big. She's also got an absolute cannon of an A3 if there's a lot of burns out there. She just keeps ramping up damage up to 400% more damage for each burn that's going out there. So it's pretty nutty. And there's a turn meter drop in the same move. Her whole kit is fun. It's really cool. She does a lot of damage. And then she's got this passive as well. So if someone gets a freeze, she's like, no, let's turn it into a burn instead. And if they've got a burn, they're immune to all sorts of weird and wonderful debuffs. So it kind of makes her a little bit relevant for the arena as well. But yeah, Tunisia is a great, great champion. Right then, let's keep it moving. We're going to move to one of the orcs. A previous fragment or fusion, can't remember which way around it was, but Iron Brado. I think he was a fragment dude. Damn, this guy's cool. This guy's really cool. He's got one of the best passives going. Increases the defense of all allies by 10% just for being on the same team. So if he's got 10% of his defense, so if he's got like a 5k defense, he's giving all of your team 500 more defense. This passive rocks. It's so good. So good. It's straight up giving your team damage mitigation through this. He's also got a hard hit in A1. Got a chance to decrease the duration of buffs. He's got a hard hit in A2. And gives you a infinite increased defense buff, which is damn good. This has also got a chance to place a stun. I almost forget this has got a chance to place a stun because I generally use him in Clan Boss, but actually 100% chance of placing a stun on an enemy. And it can go on for 2 turns as well if they're under 2 or more buffs. I always forget about that one. He's got an AoE provoke. Also decrease attack for 2 turns if he's got increased defense up. And guess what? He has infinite increased defense. So yeah, just an absolute legend of a champion. Great for Clan Boss teams. But also just generally good. Like, he hits hard and he's got some control and he's got a big sort of tankiness about him. So yeah, Iron Brado, very, very strong. Okay, then let's pick up an undead. It's going to be Mashold in this group. Mashold from 0 to hero. Got a massive buff, and that buff has taken him right through the ranks. He's got this A1. Basically, if there's leech out there, he will hit everyone with leech. It's so good because it means that everyone who's being hit is as if they're hitting with a single target ability instead of an AoE ability. Therefore, any mastery that reduces the damage from AoE hits doesn't count for this. The Hydra boss, all of those heads get a load of damage mitigation from AoE hits. Doesn't count for this. So he does a lot of work with this ability in a lot of context, actually. Duchess passive. Oh, by the way, doesn't count for this because it's not an AoE ability. It's very cool. He's got this full team increased speed and crit damage. Puts out True Fear and Leech on enemies. That's how he gets the A1 going and gets his extra turn. So you might just turn his A3 off and just go A2, A1, and everyone's falling down. And if they don't, they're feared anyway. It's on a 3-turn. It enables some really fast Clan Boss teams similar to Deke and Seeker. Very cool ability. And if you do want to use his A3, by the way, it hits incredibly hard. So he's got a chance of stealing buffs before he goes. He needs accuracy to do that. Steals those buffs away, replaces it with heal reduction, puts some heals on himself, and then smacks for 50% more damage if he's taken all of those buffs off. Very, very cool. Okay, let's go onwards and upwards. Who's next in the mix? We've got another high elf. Tatora. Again, a fusible champion some time ago. Damn, this champion rocks. Such a cool champ. Great base stats again. We've got decreased accuracy A1. We've got block, debuffs, and increased defense on his A2 for the whole team. 3-turn cooldown. And then he's got this perfect veil ability for his team. I found out when I did this kind of clan boss comp, this was a great way to make sure the stun always just went on him. And when he does his ability, he hits as well, hits hard, and gets a shield for the damage. I tell you what, the shield is massive if you get his damage up. His defense base, which makes him tanky anyway. This is a really, really cool A3. He's also got this passive here. So when attacked, 30% chance of just giving the enemy, or 30% reflect damage, and then a 30% chance of placing a freeze on whoever hits him as well. This is mainly for arena, I would say, but the freeze can come into play a bit of RNG when you're doing wave-based content. But yeah, Tatora is a beast. Right then, let's keep it going. We have got a new champion on my account I'm going to do a guide for probably this week. Mithrala Lifebane. So the champion that you get from Hydra. I mean, this skin is so good. Isn't it so good? Seriously, what a fine piece of work that is. I absolutely love it. I love it. So yeah, Mithrala is fairly unique again. So we've got Poison A1, great. We've got AoE Hex, also increased defense, also increased attack. She's buffing the damage of everybody while she's putting a Hex out there. And you're like, what does the Hex do? Nothing. Hex is so weird. She's got remove all debuffs, a full cleanse on her A3. She gives you a strengthen and a shield. And then her passive. So whenever she's attacked by someone under Hex, oh, here we go. 50% chance of putting out the petrification debuff. Also, if an ally is attacked by Hex, 30% chance. Cool thing about her, so her resistance basically becomes accuracy. So you can build a high resistance and high accuracy, and she basically doubles up to get increased accuracy for that. Just makes her accuracy number like insane. And also, her resistance number will be high because you're doing the two together. Makes her very, very unique and also very cool for arena. But I feel like she's also just a good clan boss champion. She's a generalist as well. But I think in arena is where she really comes into her own. Now, we've also got in this bunch of insane champions, the Ninja. Now, some people will be like, oh, I'm fed up hearing about Ninja. I've got to call him out. He's so damn good. I wish there was a second champion made that is not called Ninja that has got the exact same kit. Like the exact same kit. And you call him, I don't know, Binja or Nonja or something. You know, like you got Ryu and Ken in Street Fighter 2. You have like a Ken to the Ryu who's got the same kit that that will be obtainable for anybody that's playing the game because he's so damn good. A1 drop defense. He's got this triple hitter A2, which basically puts out burns and activates them as he goes. It just does a ton of damage. He's got an AoE freeze, but when it hits the boss, it's just a hard hitter, which gives him a bit of a refresh on this great ability on his A2. Yeah, it's just so useful. Clan boss, Doom Tower bosses. He's a hard carry, and I feel sorry for people that can't get him. As he's in fights for longer, he just scales up more damage. He becomes one of the best damage dealers in the game for like an unkillable clan boss team. The longer he's in a fight, the better he gets. But yeah, he is an absolute beast. Well worth building out if you've got him. If you haven't, then you just got to kind of like cry into your own milk. Lady Kimmy in this same bracket here. Fastest champion in the game. Awesome base stats. She's got a bit of a turn meter kind of play around on the AE1. Second hit, got a chance to drop turn meter. She does all of the stuff which is annoying on the A2. So AoE, drop accuracy, drop speed, drop turn meter. Now on the A3, she's like that. Now it's time to sort my team out. Block. She puts block buffs on enemies where she steals a buff or removes a buff. And then she's filling turn meter, increasing your accuracy, increasing your speed. She becomes like ruthless in the arena. She's so damn good in the arena at doing pretty much everything you want for a support-based champion. Got passive as well, which just does a bit of turn meter filling. She's got a great speed aura for Doom Tower. And yeah, Lady Kimmy is awesome. Okay, I've got one more in this faction for this group. So Kyuku. I've had the pleasure of playing around with Kyuku in the last month or so. Wow. She hits so damn hard. She's got a great kit. She's basically the best ally protector in the game if you can get her to work, and she's not easy. She's got an A1. It's a triple hit if there's a few debuffs out there, and it can place weaken, and it hits so hard. Hits really hard. She's defense-based, massive base defense. She's got an AoE decrease attack on her A2. If decrease attack is already there, she's got an AoE HP burn on her A2, which is nutty as well. She's also got this ally protection ability, putting block damage out there. She's my Bommel 90 solo champion. She's awesome in clan boss. She does all sorts. She's just so damn good. This ally protection is the best ally protection ability in the game, but she gets this extra turn, and it just makes her very difficult to speed tune because of this. She's also got this kind of Seeker type passive. So if she's hit with a crit in Arena, she spreads that increased defense to the rest of your team, same as Seeker does. She also gives them a cheeky heal as well, and enables your team to go second and stay alive. It's very cool. Defense in all battles, and yeah, awesome, awesome legendary champion. Another one in this group I've got is Lissandra, the turn meter queen. She's got transfer and debuffs on her A1. She's got a full turn meter deplete A2. This is just awesome in anywhere where you can drop turn meter, basically. It's awesome. And then she speeds you up. She pushes your turn meter, and she drops enemy turn meter. It's just such a good A3. Basically enables a nuker in the arena to be like insanely slow and still get their damage away. Speed in all battles as well. Great base stats. Lissandra, top tier. Okay, I've got two more for this kind of group, and then we're going into what I would class as my top bracket. So, the only rare to make it like this, of course she's in the mix, Cold Heart. She is played at the absolute end game. She's a rare. She's played at the absolute end game in top tier teams. Quad hits A1. How many times have I said that in this video? I'll tell you how many. 0. There's so few of them around. I don't know if there's... Is there more? Is there another quad hitter? I guess there must be around the park somewhere. But yeah, she's very few and far between to find this. And each hit has got a chance to put heal reduction out there as well. So this is just a Fire Knight. Awesome ability. AoE hitter here with decreased accuracy and poison on her A2. And then she's got the cannon on her A3. Drops enemy turn meter. Does an absolute smack. Only needs 70% crit rate. And it's just spider killer, Doom Tower boss killer. You know, it goes around all over the place. Cold Heart, again, like bad base stats because she's only a rare champion, but she is an absolute beast. And then the last one in this group for me is Hedgie. Hedgie, I mean, he's top tier. Don't get me wrong, he's top tier. I just feel like he's less useful than the last group. But Hedgie has got the passive, which enables him to always go first. He's kind of mainly just an arena champion to annoy the enemy team. He goes first. He either does his A1 with the mastery, which pushes back turn meter and will drop two people's turn meter and get their order all wrong. He'll also put decreased speed out there if he lands it. You build him in a stun set and he's got a chance to stun as well, or a provoke set, chance to provoke. He's just a nuisance. Or you could go full damage and be like, well, before you even get a turn, I'm going to try and absolutely explode you. And this ability hits pretty damn hard to do that as well. So if you build him in a stun set or a control set, then this is an AoE anyway. And you've got a good chance to land control. He's also got block skills, decrease attack on this ability anyway. So even if he doesn't land stuns and stuff, he's still damn annoying. So yeah, Hedgie was the last of that kind of like second tier group. Now we're going into the cream of the crop, in my opinion. And I'm sure there's an argument that could be said for pretty much anybody that I've spoken about so far could fall into this group in the right situation. But this is my cream of the crop. And we're going to start with just somebody who's gone down a little bit in estimations just because other champions have come in to replace him. But Maneater still comes in as one of the most desirable champions to get in the game because he enables unkillable teams. And unkillable teams for Clan Boss is about as good as it gets. Now, even if you're not doing an unkillable team with him, he's still incredibly good. He's got an AoE decrease attack. He's got a turn meter drop A2. But this is where he becomes strong. 5-turn cooldown. Full team unkillable with block debuffs. That's the important part. because it enables you to do stun protection. It enables you to do protection from affinity clan bosses. Just makes him so damn good. And you put two of these together and you got yourself a nutty clan boss team. So yeah, Maneater still forms some of the best, easiest to build clan boss teams in the game. I guess we'll stick on that clan boss theme and we're going to pull out Valk. She enables you to do things that you shouldn't be able to do. So in clan boss, again, she's got this kind of like massive shield and counterattack. The shield enables you to get to turn 50 if you build her right with the right team around her. And that is huge. You know, it enables you to push past turn 50, which is where all of the unkillable teams dies. So you can actually punch damage higher than an unkillable team if you're using someone like a Valk in the right setup. But yeah, she's incredibly good. She's also got a passive which enables her to be really strong for arena and enable you to go first when you shouldn't go first, when you're not fast enough. So this champion's turn meter will be increased by 10% each time an enemy places a buff. But enemy champions will have their turn meter pushed back by 10% when that happens. So, you know, if Arbiter's putting out an increased attack buff on the enemy team, all of them drop turn meter by 10%, should enable your team to cut in front and then start moving. And she's got a drop turn meter A1 as well. So yeah, Valk is still, in my opinion, absolutely top tier. Let's talk about this fella, Dracomorph. What a champion still. So we've got a smack of an A1, more damage for each debuff out there. Will also do more damage if he kills someone and then pops someone else with surplus damage. He's got a 4-hitter, each hit, chance to place poison on his A2. And he's got 2 of the best debuffs to do damage with for your team. So weaken and drop defense. So yeah, Draco still in that group of elite. Alongside him, another lizard. One of the best in the game now. We're talking about top 15 to 20 anyway here, but this is in like a top 5, I would guess. But yeah, Krisk, AoE drops speed chance on his A1, AoE hit and puts ally protection on his team, also increasing your buffs, duration, and then provoke A3. This has become even stronger now with stuff like Head of Decay being able to be provoked in Hydra. Increased defense on him, increased speed on his team, and then a cool passive as well. Whenever he's hit, he puts out a decreased defense and attack. And at the start of a round, he gives everyone a whopping great big shield. Krisk is top tier in this game. Let's talk about one more in this group, I guess. Romantu, don't have him yet. I'm working on him right now. Romantu, funny enough, Romantu nullifies a lot of the champions that we've talked about or will continue to talk about, especially in Arena. And, you know, one of the main things that makes these champions so good is those cool passives, right? Those passives that keep people alive or, you know, stop people being affected by stuns and stuff like that. He takes that away. He has basically got this ability on his A3 to block passive skills. And it's completely unique in the game. I don't think anyone else has got this on any ability at all. But this makes him very, very unique. So yeah, blocking active skills and passive skills. Well, you're basically just left with an A1, a team doing A1s. And it nullifies every sensible comp in the game. So it also nullifies all of those big kind of tanky defensive type arena teams because he's like, ah, you're no longer tanky. I've taken away your passive that made you that. So yeah, it becomes really cool. He's got a 4-hitter on his A2, dropping a ton of different debuffs. He's got stun on his A1. He's got so much in his kit, actually. Whenever an enemy places any of these kind of nasties, this champion will get loads of turn meter and speed. Just like crazy, crazy champion. So yeah, Romantu up there in the top group. So we've got a couple here, which I nearly put in the tier below, honestly. And I'm still a little bit unsure. So Sifi, I've kept her in that top tier. I think she still is. She's used way less than she used to be, but still damn good. Crazy base speed, good base stats. She's got this irresistible A1. Take a nap. Have a nap and stay asleep. Very annoying. Basically, if she's one-on-one with anybody, she should never lose. She just sends them to sleep. She's got a block debuff for 2 turns, turn meter fill, increased defense, increased speed. Like, whoa, so much in this A2 ability. They're all great abilities as well, great buffs. And then she's got a revive and a turn meter fill on her A3 with nice buffs as well. If you put her with a Rotus, then damn, he is gonna basically he cannot take debuffs. Rotus like that, whatever. I'm shrugging them off. Just shrugging them off. So yeah, pretty nuts, and then resisting all battles as well. So she is in the elite. Someone else, Necrit. I mean, with protection sets and stone skin sets coming out as well, this guy was already so good, especially for arena. He becomes even better. He's also good for clan boss, but we've got decreased attack A1. We've got this kind of ally attack ability A2. It's not like as good as some of the other ally attacks. There's only going to be a couple of your team, but it's still solid. He's got great buffs on his A3. Block debuffs, ally protection, strengthen. Basically, that person that he puts this on will not die. And then he's also got this kind of like double up to it. So whenever someone's attacked who's under that ally protection, he puts out a fat shield that just stops them taking normal damage for 30% of his HP. It's so massive. And at the start of a turn as well, at the start of a round, he's put those same debuffs on somebody else. So you basically got two people that have got that massive set of protection. It's so nuts. So yeah, he's one of the best defensive champions in the game for arena. Okay, let's move on to the next one in my list. It's going to be the champion that you can get from Faction Wars. So Lydia just enables stuff that you couldn't do before. Yeah, she's the upgrade to the Draco. So she's got a chance to put a fear out on her A1. This is actually really good. Yeah, if you're just in like wave-based content, it's like, oh crap, I'm about to take a load of damage. She's like, fear, 50%, you're not going to do what you were about to do. Pretty cool. She's got the drop defense, weaken, strengthens, increased speed on her A2, which is crazy, on a 3-turn. And then she's got poison sensitivity and, more importantly, the block buffs and block active skills on her A3 on a 3-turn. Very cool. And then she's got this very unique passive. So basically, anything about reviving gets reversed. Yeah, so if she's alive and someone is trying to be revived, she'll revive your team. If she's dead and they try and revive, she revives herself. If nobody's dead and they try and revive, she blocks them doing it. It's so good. It's so good, this passive. It's on a long cooldown, but it is incredibly good. Resistance for 100 in arena. Damn, what a champion. What a champion. Okay, we can't do a top 70 without calling out the hardest hitting champion, most ridiculous hitter in the game, Trunda. She's got a stun on her A1. You probably won't ever see that happen because you don't build accuracy on her. This is one of her main hits. Hit someone with high HP. She hits them really hard and then she spreads damage onto other people. And basically it's coded that she just goes again. She can do phenomenal damage to high HP, low defense champions with this. If she hits a dead Hydra head with this ability, she explodes damage onto the other Hydra heads. It's really high. If they're all dead, she can do multiple millions of damage with one hit with this A2. The A3 is the best arena hit in the game. Mainly because it doesn't need a ton of setup to do it. So basically, putting out decreased defense will help you, but she can clean a wave just with this ability. It's a double hit as long as she doesn't have high accuracy. If she's got high accuracy, I'll tell you what, she stuns them anyway and has got a chance to burn them. So either way, they're going to be dead. But better off just killing them first time round, take the accuracy away, and she just annihilates teams. She's got this this aura of the passive as well, which we don't really care about because all we really care about is this A2 and the A3, which just do a shed ton of damage. Another champion in this group then, Warlord. I mean, Warlord's still just obscene. He is an obscene enemy to face. This skill, the A3, attacks everyone. He's a void champion, so he doesn't have any kind of weak affinity problems. And he's like that. Everybody's skills locked out. They're all on cooldown. And by the way, there's only one counter to this, and that's Kaimar. Like, or hard counter anyway. And by the way, if I put Kaimar's skills on cooldown, he can't counter me anyway. Like, it's nutty. So he can drop your turn meter. He can lock out all your abilities on his A3. and then the rest of your team just does its work. He's also got enhances or the duration of all debuffs on an enemy. So this is a good clan boss ability or good general ability for like boss fights. And he's got a big shield, block debuff, heal, A2 as well. Like his full kit is phenomenal. He's also got resistance in all battles. Definitely for me in that top tier of champions. So look, had to throw Helicaf in there. I think he's a top tier champion. For those that are able to get him, he's basically pushed accounts on. Yeah, if you've picked him up as an early to mid game account, wow, what a change that's going to make to you. Enables unkillable clan boss teams on his own. I don't think there's anyone else that enables unkillable teams by themselves. They normally need some partner in crime to make it happen. He's just straight up, I'll do it. I'll carry the load. So yeah, Helicaf is awesome. Weaken on his A1. He's got a big shield on his A2, which is kind of like Valk's. It just scales straight off of his defense. And then he's got this A3, which gives you the block damage, which enables the unkillable stuff. Also, when it drops off, you get the increased defense, which makes it really good for general content. Just makes you incredibly difficult to kill as a team when this is running. And then he's got this passive as well, so he'll get more defense for each person under block damage. So up to about 20% more defense, which again just makes his shield scale a bit higher. So a really well thought out kit, really great champion. Defense in all battles as well. Great base stats. So yeah, Helicaf had to be in this kind of top group of champs. All right, let's keep it going. Another epic in the mix here. So Seer, the best wave clearer in the game. Bar none. Bar none. There's people that try. Yeah, you've got the Poison Exploders try. You've got people like Ruel try and get up there. But Seer's just like that. No. I do this job and I do it better than anyone else. And by the way, I don't even need to hit someone to do it. I'm just going to rip off our buffs and everyone's going to take a rest. So yeah, Seer is the best wave clearer in the game. And she's also just, like, this ability is also just good. Because if she doesn't kill someone, she takes them for a little nap. And then by the time they wake up, they're probably going to be dead anyway. She also puts crit rate and on your team, weaken on the enemies. She's got a chance of extra turns on her A1. None of that really matters. It's all about this A3 ability. Give her 100% crit rate. Give her high crit damage. And watch everybody else fall down. Okay. We're getting to like the real final numbers here. So Yumiko, basically like a Warlord and Kaimar combined. She's got to be in there. She's got a nutty kit. Double hitter here. Chance to steal turn meter. She's got an attack here where she puts a hex out. Basically, anyone who's got the hex on loses the plot. So whenever someone fills the turn meter of an enemy under hex, this champion gets that turn meter instead if Kurato's in the team. That doesn't happen that often because Kurato's a little bit average. But whenever an enemy tries to place a debuff on either this champion or an ally, 55 goes up to 75% chance of just giving that debuff to whoever was trying to place it, including people like Bommel. Bommel tries to put bombs on you. She's like that. No, Bommel. You're the one who's going to get bombed. It's very, very crazy. She's got this A3 as well, which is a ludicrous skill. Locks out the enemy team and resets your skills at the same time. And then her passive here, so she puts a perfect veil on herself for 2 turns, which keeps resetting. And if Kurato's around, it's even more insane. I mean, she's just ludicrous. She's really, really cool. Great design, great champion, and part of the elite squad. Okay, someone you're probably like, how has this champion not been called out yet? She's in there. She's in, for me, the top tier group, Allure. And mainly because she enables Fire Knight end game. Yeah, she also is just good elsewhere. She's good in other stuff as well. Other things like Dark Phase, she's top tier. But Fire Knight, without her, it's very difficult to get speed running going. And Fire Knight's one of the best dungeons to farm. So Allure with her A1, just dropping turn meter back, non-stop. She actually hits reasonably hard with her A2 and her A3 as well. But it's just all about this A1. Accuracy up, crit rate up, speed up, and watch everybody fail to have a go. So Allure is in that kind of top tier group of champions for me. mainly for this reason. In terms of like, would I want one on my account? Absolutely, I would. And we've got a couple of dwarves to talk about. The first one up. People moan about the Geomancer nerf. Oh, Geomancer, I can't believe he was nerfed. What were Raid thinking? This guy is easily in this group. Like, easily in the top tier group in the game. What an absolute beast. What's so cool about this dude is you don't need to build him for damage to make him do damage, which means you build him for survivability, and he's doing more damage than probably anyone on your team. He enables crazy Bommel teams. He enables crazy Spider 25 stuff. He enables most Doom Tower bosses to be dead. He's one of the best clan boss damage dealers in the game. Like, the list goes on, honestly. He is just phenomenal. So we've got an AoE decrease accuracy here. Actually good for Hydra. We've got a buff steal A2. And then we've got this A3, which puts out the burn and the weaken. Also steals turn meter, or depletes turn meter on the A3. Now, as long as his burn is out there, his passive kicks in. And his passive just straight up stops you taking 15% of the damage you should have done. Like, that alone would have been brilliant. Then he deflects some damage. And then he does this kind of enemy max HP 3%er, which against clan boss and Doom Tower bosses is a phenomenal amount of damage. Basically, whenever anyone on your team is hit, he's got a chance to do this retribution 3% hit. It's so good, and he doesn't have to physically have high stats to do it. You just want his accuracy to land the burn, and you want him to stay alive. What a great champion this is. And his partner in crime, Brogni, of course, he's in this group. I mean, nutty champion. Nutty champion. Incredibly unique. So we've got a burn on his A1. We've got an AoE buff removing A2. Also, a chance to remove a random debuff from your team. Also increases a shield buff on your team. The only person in the game that can increase the value of a shield based on his damage. And he actually hits hard with this skill. You want to build him to hit hard. He's got an A3 as well. So he puts block debuffs on you, increase attack, and a shield himself based on his HP. And a shield cannot be stripped away from like a Hydra or anyone like that. So you just keep it. And then his passive kicks in. So people that are under a shield reflect some damage. If you've got Giant Slayer on, then he'll do loads of Giant Slayer hits. And anyone who's hit with this shield up gets a big heal. It's like, damn, this champion has got so much going on. Resistance in Doom Tower. He's got good base stats. So yeah, Brogni easily in this group. And then we've got Dimitha as well. Kind of got to call her out. The same reason I've called out Maneater and Helicath. She enables unkillable teams. And she enables really high damage ones. So basically, she's got a block damage ability here on her A3. It's the main part of a kit. You pair her with someone else like Heiress, and it just gives you an unkillable team setup, as long as you've got the right speeds. She does need to be fast. These teams are fast to enable her to do her thing, but she's pretty nutty. She's also got this kind of buff extender, A2, and heal. And yeah, and a bit of shielding going on her A1. Good base stats. So yeah, Dimitha in with the elite group. Who have I got left? I got 3 champions left. Kaimar is in the mix. Kaimar's got to be in the mix. Kind of similar for the reason of Yumiko, honestly. But he's got a bit of a different kit. So he's got an AoE A1 with poison. Fine. He's got an AoE, buff remove, and sleep A2. This was kind of always overlooked a bit. But then you had stuff like reaction gear coming in. Or you had stuff like stone skin gear coming in. And you just wanted to strip buffs as much as you could. So you remove their buffs. You let them have a turn. Let them have a nap. And then your damage comes in over the top. And if it didn't quite work out well enough, he then does a turn meter fill and a full reset, and your team go again. If you're not using him in arena, he just straight up, you use him for this ability. So he's like, Seer, do your buff rip, and then by the way, I'm going to let you do it again. Yeah, it's got such a good kit for quite a simple champion. He's got speed in arena as well, great base stats. Quite tanky stats, actually. So he's a support champion. He can hit for a reasonable number, but not a lot. So you're better off just building him to stay alive and to do his abilities. But yeah, he's quite easy to keep alive. But Kaimar's in the mix. Duchess is one of the other ones then in these last three. Duchess is a phenomenal champion. She gives you a bit of a shield on her A1. She does a block, debuffs, and increase attack for the team on her A2 and a perfect veil. So the perfect veil means you take less damage. Block debuffs obviously means you don't take debuffs, and then increase attack powers up your nukers. And then she's got this revive with a high amount of health on her A3 and a veil. So I'm going to revive you, and I'm then going to hide you, but heal on you as well. So pretty much when you get a go, you're nigh on full health again. And then this passive just kind of helps you stay alive. So most bosses, most damage that you take in this game is AoE damage, the majority. And she just straight up gives you damage mitigation through a passive. She's got speed in all battles as well. Phenomenal great base stats. So she's in that elite squad. I got one more in the elite squad. Someone I don't have, and that is Cardiel. Look at the pose. He knows he should be in the elite squad. He's like that. Yes, I'm in. Yeah, awesome champion. Like used for a lot of endgame teams. Used in endgame clan boss teams, endgame arena setups, Hydra. Like he just pops up again and again in phenomenal teams. So he's got a heal on his A1 and a chance to put a fear on one of these dodgy factions. He's got a full cleanse, block debuffs, and revive on death. The revive on death can't be removed on his A2. So if Hydra's trying to steal it away, he's like, no, you're not having that one. My team are coming back up. That's on a 3-turn cooldown, which is so good. He's then got a crit rate, crit damage buff, and ally attack on his A3. But he also decreases the cooldown of this skill if someone dies. So in the arena, you go in, you kill 1, 2, 3, whatever, and he gets a chance to basically cycle back through it really quickly. He's got a passive as well, so allies just receive less damage from Demon Spawn, Undead, and Night Revs. They're all pretty much meta arena factions, so there's loads of champions in that mix that will just be in most teams that you fight. So 20% less damage in there, and he pairs up with Sakia as well for some shenanigans as well. Like, just so good. Speed in all battles. There you go. Woo! Are you still with me? If you are, why don't you drop me a sub? And damn, what a marathon. That is my top 70. That is my raids best champions. Who did I miss? Let me know below. I've been Hell Hades. I'll see you later.